We have a surprise here, and I'm super grateful. Edward Natali is here. He is a Butler Township Commissioner. Mr. Natali, how are you, sir?
Hello, Mike. How are you?
Very good. Very grateful you're here.
All right.
And that you are in the middle of all of this now. This is I'm sure you didn't expect this.
No, sir. No, not at all. And I just want to say, I do love your program. I've been listening. But, yeah, no, this is not something that we ever wanted to see put Butler, Pennsylvania on the map. That's for sure.
No, that's a shame. All right, let's correct some record here for us and for the media and everything that's getting out there. Your official insight here of things that we need to get right.
All right. Well, yes. Well, and I'm just going to focus on, I'm a Butler Township Commissioner, and I'm just going to focus on the Butler Township Police Department as, my team that it supports and loves this community. We had 7 officers at site that were strictly there for traffic control. When you look at Secret Service, Pennsylvania State Police, Butler County Sheriff's Department, the Butler Township Police only responsibility was traffic detail. And I'm not going to comment on any other entity that was there, but I want to set the record straight, especially when you comment, and it's not you that made the comment, it's been the callers. You talked about the counter sniper and how he may feel. Well, I want to tell you about my officer. He was not climbing a ladder. He was not in a position to engage the suspect at all. He was actually being assisted. There was an officer on the ground, and the ground officer's kind of hoisting him up, kind of in a military thing where you have your hands cupped, and he's standing on his hands, and he had both his hands on the edge of the roof. He's peeking his head up to see where the suspect is. The suspect turns his rifle and points it at the head of my officer. Obviously, he's not in a position to engage him by any means, and he did not retreat. It's not that he didn't want to engage. He could not engage. He let go of the roof to try to get his gun, and of course, he fell backwards, actually getting injured in the process. So the officer, and my personal opinion is that due to the fact that that the suspect saw the officer, probably forced him to shoot maybe in a more hurried up rate that he wanted to. And hopefully, again, I'm looking at it that he, unfortunately we lost people, but he saved President Trump's life by forcing him to hurry up and not having his shots maybe as accurate as he could have.
Edward, this is super important. I'm so glad you called him. So what happens is we all make movies in our head.
Right.
We hear a couple things and we just instantly fill in all the blanks. So when we hear officer saw a person on roof, we put in a ladder, we put in how high he was on the roof. We just totally make up a movie.
Right.
And then go with it. So thank you for filling in these details. So what you're saying is there was an interaction on top of the roof. That's an important thing to note that did happen. So you're saying he was hoisted up by another officer?
That's correct.
And so he had his hands on the roof line.
Yes.
And kind of just poked his head up to see what was going on.
Yes, and trying to, obviously trying to help lift himself up. Well, he's, so he is in a very vulnerable position. He couldn't yield his gun, or wield his gun rather. Thank you. I apologize for that. But then so obviously.
Did he know someone was up there? Did he know someone was? So first, again, in my brain, it's like, well, he should then Rambo style with one hand pull, but that's not real life. Did he know someone was up there, or was this just checking things out, or did he know there's a potential shooter right there?
No, they, of course, as the media has covered correctly, there were, people were saying there was someone on the roof, and like I said, our guys were just strictly there for traffic control. Once they heard that there was a suspect, they actually left their positions for traffic, and officers went over to help engage in the search for the suspect. And of course, as you said, people are saying someone's on the roof, and so they're trying to investigate that and see who's up there, and so that's how then the process continued from there.
So this building and this roof wasn't in your local police officer's original responsibility.
That's absolutely correct. Yeah, we had no security detail were not there to secure any buildings or anything whatsoever. We were strictly there for traffic control. And honestly, from, I'll say, a law enforcement, whether you want to, classify Secret Service, state police, county sheriffs, we had the least amount of people there. We only had 7 officers strictly there for traffic control.
Who was in charge of that building?
Honestly, I do not know, and it is still, I'm going to say it's still being investigated. I'm going to say that building was discussed earlier in the week. That was confirmed to me. I wasn't directly in the loop of all the, preparations, but I can tell you my team had a very good operational plan for that day, but it was all traffic control.
Yep. How are your officers right now? How are they shook up?
I can tell you my team of officers across the board, and especially, I'm not going to mention any names of the officer that actually was, in that engaging position, that was trying to look for the suspect. They are completely shook up, demoralized. They are, it's really sad for them because they're taking a beating in, the media, social media. And, we've set up counseling for them. We're obviously all the commissioners, not just me. We're talking to them, supporting them. My wife yesterday went and bought a bunch of, meat and cheese trays and things just to show, hey, we love you guys and we appreciate what you do.
So, you know the guy who put his head up and looked at the assassin.
Yes, I do, and I really do not want to mention his name because it just
no. I would never ask.
Yeah,
I really want to know how he is doing. How is his mental state right now?
His mental state is pretty bad. It's pretty bad. I don't think I haven't checked today, but I think he hasn't reported back. We'll say fit to serve duty right now. I haven't talked to the police chief this morning.
Can you please pass on some good message that we don't blame him?
Okay.
This is not his response. I mean, I don't. There's plenty of failures to go around. I don't blame the officer who was not even assigned to that location, who poked his head out. But he's a good man, and I'm sure he wishes he could do more.
Yeah, no.
Is that the root of it? Probably.
That's exactly right, Mike. And honestly, I know where your heart is. I know your biblical worldview. That's the same worldview I have. So I have full faith and confidence in your sincerity in those comments. For his, get the record straight. I've been engaging other media, sent an email to a New York Times reporter. It just, I want to make sure that, people know that my team, they serve with honor and to dispel all the, we'll say, rumors and innuendos and misinformation out there.
Edward, last question. Do you have any message to the head of the Secret Service?
As I said, I didn't want to point fingers, but I will tell you the comment that I saw last evening about the slope of the roofs, and especially when there were Secret Service agents on the roof that was behind the president, which visually, obviously, I don't know for sure. I didn't measure it, but that slope of that roof actually looked more than the slope of the roof that over at the AGR compound. So to me, that I heard your segment about, incompetence and ineptness and stuff. Maybe it's the Peter principle. Maybe she should go back to guarding Pepsi bottles versus protecting our presidents. And I know that's kind of snarky, and that's usually not in my character, but God forgive me for that.
And I hear you, and I hear where it's coming from. Edward, you're a good man. Thank you for listening, and thank you for sharing the truth.
All right. Thank you, Mike, for everything you do. Appreciate it every day.
Boy. Thanks, brother. Please, thank you, sir. Let's stay in touch. Please let me know if there's anything else that we need to get out.
All right.
That's Edward. Thank you, brother. That's Edward Natale. He's a Butler Township commissioner. Very good.